Welcome back to Aparsoft AI Insights. I'm Sarah, and with me as always is Michael. Before we dive into today's massive news, a quick disclosure. This podcast is created using Claude by Anthropic for content creation and Aparsoft TTS for voice synthesis. We believe in transparency about AI-generated content.
Sarah, yesterday was insane. OpenAI Dev Day 2025 just happened in San Francisco, and I'm still processing everything that was announced. Are you ready for this?
Ready, Michael? I've been waiting all morning to talk about this. Let's start with the numbers because they're absolutely staggering.
So Sam Altman opened the keynote with some jaw-dropping statistics. ChatGPT now has 800 million weekly active users. That's up from 700 million just in August. We're talking about 100 million new users in less than 2 months.
That's mind-blowing growth. And it's not just consumers either. They now have 4 million developers building on the OpenAI platform, and they're processing over 6 billion tokens per minute through their API. For context, that was only 300 million tokens per minute before.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. The biggest announcement was apps in ChatGPT. Sarah, this is game-changing.
So what makes this different from the GPT store they launched before? Well, instead of being a separate marketplace, these apps now run directly inside your ChatGPT conversations. You can literally say Spotify, make a playlist for my party Friday, and Spotify opens right there in the chat with a working interface.
The launch partners are huge too. Booking.com, Canva, Coursera, Figma, Expedia, Spotify, and Zillow are all available today. And they're adding DoorDash, Instacart, Uber, and AllTrails soon.
What's really smart is they built this on the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, which is an open standard. Any developer can now use the app's SDK to build these interactive experiences. It's not just chatbots anymore. It's full applications with custom interfaces running inside ChatGPT.
But wait, there's more. AgentKit is probably the most important announcement for developers. This is OpenAI saying, hey, we're making it ridiculously easy to build AI agents.
AgentKit has 4 main components. First is Agent Builder, which Sam Altman described as like Canva for building agents. It's a visual, drag-and-drop interface for designing agent workflows. No coding required for the logic and steps.
Then there's ChatKit, which lets developers embed a ChatGPT-powered interface into their own apps or websites. You bring your own branding, your own workflows, everything customized.
Third component is Evals for agents, which includes step-by-step trace grading, datasets for testing individual agent components, and automated prompt optimization. Basically, tools to actually measure if your AI agent is working correctly.
And finally, they have a connector registry so you can securely link agents to internal tools and third-party systems through an admin control panel. Security and control built right in.
Here's the kicker though. Christina Huang, an OpenAI engineer, built an entire AI agent workflow live on stage in under 8 minutes. 8 minutes. That's how fast this new tooling is.
Okay, Sarah, we need to talk about the AMD deal because this one made the stock market go absolutely wild.
So Monday morning, before Dev Day even started, OpenAI and AMD announced a massive strategic partnership. OpenAI will deploy 6 gigawatts of AMD Instinct GPUs over multiple years, starting with the MI450 chips in the second half of 2026.
6 gigawatts. Just to put that in perspective, that's enough computing power to run 4.5 million homes. This is one of the largest GPU deployment agreements in AI history.
But here's the really interesting part. AMD issued OpenAI a warrant for up to 160 million shares of AMD common stock. If OpenAI exercises the full warrant, they could own approximately 10% of AMD.
And the market reaction. AMD stock surged over 30% on Monday, adding more than $60 billion to their market value in a single day. That's one of the biggest one-day gains AMD has seen in almost a decade.
This is strategically brilliant for OpenAI. Just 2 weeks ago, they signed a $100 billion deal with NVIDIA. Now they're diversifying with AMD. They're not putting all their eggs in one basket, and they're giving themselves leverage in negotiations.
Exactly. And Greg Brockman was very clear about this in his interview with CNBC. He said, "We need as much computing power as we can possibly get. There just simply is not enough."
They're also working with Broadcom on custom chips. They've got deals with Oracle for data center space, and agreements with Samsung and SK Hynix for memory chips. OpenAI is building one of the most ambitious AI infrastructure projects in history.
We should mention that Sora 2, which launched about a week ago, got a shout-out at Dev Day. Sam Altman confirmed that Sora 2 is now available in the API for developers to integrate video generation into their applications.
And the day ended with a 45-minute fireside chat between Sam Altman and Jony Ive, the legendary Apple designer who joined OpenAI earlier this year to work on their consumer AI device.
I've talked about the extraordinary pace of change in AI and what it means for product design. He said we're going through a technical revolution and emphasized the importance of getting things right.
Altman closed out with his vision for how AI will change software development. He said we're moving from software taking months or years to build by large teams, to individuals with good ideas being able to build apps in minutes with AI assistance.
They actually highlighted some amazing examples during the event. There's an 89-year-old Japanese man who has built 11 iPhone apps for elderly users using ChatGPT. And medical students at ASU built an app that simulates patient discussion.
So what does all of this mean? Well, OpenAI is no longer just an AI model company. They're becoming a full-stack platform with infrastructure, developer tools, consumer apps, and even hardware in the works.
They're competing with everyone now. The browser they're building challenges Chrome. The social video app with Sora 2 challenges TikTok. The apps platform challenges app stores. And AgentKit challenges workflow automation tools like Zapier.
At a $500 billion valuation, after their recent funding round, OpenAI is now the most valuable private company in the world. And with 800 million weekly users, they have unprecedented reach.
The developer ecosystem is the key to everything, though. With 4 million developers now building on OpenAI, they're creating network effects. Every app built with the app's SDK, every agent created with AgentKit makes the platform more valuable.
And don't forget the enterprise side. Companies like HubSpot saw their stock jump 7% just from being mentioned during the keynote. The market is recognizing that OpenAI's tools are becoming essential infrastructure for businesses.
Of course, there are challenges ahead. Privacy concerns with apps accessing conversation data, competition from Google, Anthropic, and Meta, and questions about profitability, though Altman said that's not in his top 10 concerns right now.
Yeah, he told reporters, "We are confident we can build a very profitable model, but right now we're in a space of investment and growth. The rational thing to do is just be willing to run the loss for quite a while."
So looking ahead, we're going to see these apps rolling out to more users, AgentKit enabling thousands of new AI agents, and the AMD chips powering increasingly sophisticated models starting in 2026.
If the first Dev Day in 2023 was about GPT-4 Turbo and the vision for the GPT store, and 2024 was about voice APIs, then 2025 is definitely the year agents and apps go mainstream.
Bottom line, OpenAI Dev Day 2025 showed us that AI is moving from something people play with to foundational infrastructure that's reshaping how we build software, run businesses, and interact with technology.
The combination of easier development tools, massive computing infrastructure, and 800 million weekly users creates a powerful flywheel. We're watching the AI platform wars heat up in real time.
That's our take on OpenAI Dev Day 2025. What do you think about these announcements? How will AgentKit change development? Will the AMD partnership shake up the chip market? We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Thanks for listening to Aparsoft AI Insights. Remember, this podcast is created using Claude by Anthropic and Aparsoft TTS. We'll be back with more AI news and analysis soon. Until then, keep building with AI.
See you next time.